This is the first video segment. Tipping point with Boone CUTLER. Tipping point with Boone CUTLER. I should say it more clearly since this is video. I can't do a whole lot of editing like I do on the radio. But here's the deal. Each week you guys tune in to me. KKFT 99.1 FM Talk, Northern Nevada's #1 FM talk station on the Fox News Network. This week we start something new. Why? Because we're getting ready to go through an election. And I'm going to need some visual aids to get you guys to understand some very, very important points. Some issues that are going to affect all of us warfighters. Some issues that are going to affect America. Now this is a big deal. It's a real big deal. Let's talk about the 200K clash. For those of you that have been paying attention, you'll remember that the 200K clash has moved up to has moved anywhere between 200,000 to maybe even 1 million. Over the next year, we're going to have 1 million troops, upwards of, back on the street, many disabled, many injured, many have been hurt in war. And we're going to have to integrate with these people. I'm one of those people. You're going to have to integrate with me. I served in Iraq in 2005. I was injured there. Spent 2 years at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. I'm a 100% disabled veteran. I also have Parkinson's disease. I have a traumatic brain injury, multiple orthopedic issues, and I got a radio show. And this radio show, now we're taking it video. Stand by to stand by, because this next piece, we're going to talk about how the Supreme Court is screwing over the United States American veteran that is disabled and will not hear a certain piece of information, legislation to clarify for the states. We're also going to talk about a potential senator, a senatorial race in Nevada, which may affect the American disabled veteran. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about people that are literally trying to rape the American veteran of what they require to be made whole after they've been injured. Let's go to the board. You see, it kind of looks like this. The Supreme Court of the United States of America has said they don't want to hear what I'm about to tell you. And it looks really simple. We already talked about my background. We already talked about the kind of stuff that I go through. But I still got all my limbs, and I'm actually not missing any portion of my head. So I guess I'm okay, right? Anybody should be able to take whatever they want from me. Because there's two issues here. And I'm going to hit on the left and I'm going to hit on the right. The left, what are we talking about? Distribution of wealth, right? That's what the big thing about the left is. Distribution of wealth. And they say it's okay. That's your opinion, not mine. Okay? You decide whether it's okay. On the right, they say states' rights issue. States' rights issue. And you decide whether or not a federal law should be trumped by states' rights issue. I would guess that most Republicans, most conservatives would say everything is a states' rights issue. Let's get back to Jefferson, right? Sure. Okay. And on the left, we got, let's see, the party of Kennedy. Breaking everything down, making sure everything's fair for everybody. But is it always fair? Because Americans' disability benefit was established by the federal government long, long time ago in order to make a warfighter whole. Because they understand that if you are disabled, once you transition or attempt to transition, I say don't transition, do not assimilate into a civilian society. That's my personal opinion. And I think it's a lot of warfighter opinions. But when you transition into that civilian society, honestly, the injuries we sustain on active duty in defense of this country aren't something that we think should be protected because we're better than other people. That money was established to make a person whole. So how can it be divided? And that's where the Supreme Court comes in. Why is this an issue? Because it goes all the way down to a lot of our elected officials and people making money off the issue. So let's talk about the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, we don't want to hear this case. This recently happened this year. They're not going to even hear the case. And here's what the case boils down to. Myself, as a disabled veteran, and many of you out there, say our spouses. It doesn't matter. This isn't a male-female issue. This is a veteran versus non-veteran issue. If the disabled veteran is divorced, becomes divorced after a certain amount of marriage, the non-veteran spouse in America is able to, in about half of our states, take the veteran disability benefit as a spousal support. So say you're a female warfighter, you become injured in country. Been married a few years, come out, they disable you, you're no longer in the military. The only thing you get is your veteran disability benefit, and that's how you survive. Well, your male spouse decides to leave you, goes to college, marries a rich lady. Guess what? If they split your veteran disability benefit, you're still going to get half of it, and your former spouse will get half of it. They'll get half of it When they get a master's degree, when they get a doctor's degree, when they become millionaires, when they marry millionaires, it doesn't ever matter. Their life can go on and get better forever. And you'll still pay them half of your veteran disability benefit regardless of their situation. Your situation will never get better. Yeah, you're going to overcome a lot of things. There's no doubt you're an American warfighter. However, that money's to be made for you so you can be whole, so you can have opportunities. But here's what's happening. The Supreme Court won't hear this case because it's about dividing the pot. See, if the Supreme Court hears this case and some Republicans come out and say, you know what, the veterans should keep that money, because we know a lot of veterans love that Republican Party. They're not bad guys. Okay? So they say the veterans should keep that money and that able-bodied spouse should get nothing. Well, guess what? Republicans at the state level are going to say, wait a minute, court, you are stepping on a states' rights issue. Get out of here. The federal law says that money cannot be lien, levy, garnished, or attached, cannot be taken in any way. However, the states say states' rights, we're going to take it anyway. And then the left says, well, wait a minute. That warfighter, maybe they got some kids. And why shouldn't that spouse have a few dollars? They stood by that warfighter all those years. They should have a few dollars. See, understand, this isn't really compensation. And I know somebody out there is going to key on the word really. Because I'll tell you like this. What it really is reimbursement. It's reimbursement. It's not a pension. And everybody knows it, but they want to twist some words around. So the Supreme Court is not going to hear this case. This issue is not going to be resolved by the United States Supreme Court anytime soon unless you and me get together and make a few changes around here. So who's going to fix this? Well, right now, there's a few guys out there who have been injured who say, I want to fix this. I will appeal to my legislators. I will appeal to people who are in power to get one law, maybe passed through the Senate, Congress, I don't know, a bill. But there's other people that want to pass a bill too. And those are the people making money off of this. Because there are these lawyers out there, I'm not kidding you, they're like chase down spouses of disabled veterans for one purpose. And that's to cheat that warfighter out of money. Cheat is a rough word. Maybe it's my opinion. Maybe it's some opinions out there. Go look at it online. At the end of the day, when that warfighter and that attorney link up in court, and the court says, I want 50% of that for your former spouse, the attorney on that side of the case is going to get 50% of that. Where's the justice? You have to decide. So, are we talking about a few fringe groups who want to save the veteran disability benefit? Fringe groups? Let's talk about what some people would call as fringe groups. They're right up here. The American Legion. The American Legion is a fringe group? Who are you? Napolitano? Just kidding. 3 million members in the American Legion. Veterans of foreign wars. 1.4 million members. Disabled American veterans. Right there, 1.2 million. Right here, Military Officers Association of America, 370,000. AMVETS, 180,000. Fleet Reserve Association, 135,000. Paralyzed Vets of America, 19,000 people. These are warfighters. This isn't some fringe group. Now, you're going to look around, and you're going to see that people call guys who want to protect the veteran disability benefit fringe groups. Now, here comes the opposing question. Hey, Boone! If that spouse has been a good spouse, why shouldn't they get something on the exit of their marriage? Because that's not what those funds are for. It's that simple. That's not what those funds are for. Hey, Boone, what if that spouse becomes disabled while they're married to you, maybe some kind of secondary PTSD? Shouldn't they get some of that money for the price they paid to support you? That's not what that money's for. If that able-bodied spouse has a medical issue, there are other funds for that. And that's where they should go. That's not what this money is for. So, we've got on one side the people who say, come on, give a little be fair about money that is not supposed to go there. That's the opinion. And we got on the other side saying, hey, wait a minute, that's so I can survive. What happens to that warfighter who is in transition, can't work. Look at today's world. Jobs are kind of scarce. So you think anybody's going to step in to stop the redistribution of this wealth? No. Because it's something people can argue over. There's not a whole lot of pots of gold out there, so everybody's in favor of chopping that up. The problem I have with it, the problem a lot of people have with it, is it fair? That's a question you have to answer. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the players of the game and whether or not this is fair and how they're going to get, on one side, this turned into a bill. And whether or not there's going to be people on another side. Maybe these people get this turned into a bill. Because there's a race right now. And some things happening in this election right here, right now, are going to determine who gets to that race first. Not who gets the bill introduced, but who gets to the race first. Let's go back over here and talk. Profiteers. Profiteers of pain, that's what I call them. Because they're profiting off of warfighter pain. There are people that profit off of what is happening right now. Let's talk about them. I'll give you an example, and I'm going to express his name because this is what he does. This is how he solicits business. And this is an interest, honestly, of public policy. This is my job. This is what I do. And undoubtedly, the man I'm about to talk to will probably sue me for this. Why? Because he doesn't want you to know what's going on, and he also, let's put it this way, he doesn't want you to know who he's supporting, and the person he's supporting darn sure doesn't want you to know this guy's in the mix. Profiteers. Profiteers of pain. Marshal Willick. That's the guy. He lives in Las Vegas. I'm assuming he lives in Las Vegas because that's where he works, and he calls himself a Las Vegas attorney. Okay, I'm not telling anybody to go out there and find him. I don't want anybody to go shoot him. I don't want anybody to hurt this man. What I want is to have a debate on public policy and let it be a fair debate. Not let it be something that's been finagled and wrangled, because this guy's been doing this. Honestly, he's been representing former spouses of warfighters, as far as I can see, for at least 20 years, probably more. In his law firm, he has a man that works that is a former JAG. Now he's a case manager. He's a case manager now. He's no longer an attorney because he's a registered sex offender at a family law practice. But let's get back to Marshal Willick. By the way, Mr. Willick, we will play fair, my friend. We will play fair so long as you play fair. You bring any incredulous crap to me for doing this show, and whatever rules you decide to play by, I will also play by. Keep it fair. Keep it about public policy and opinion, because I've seen what you do. A lot of people have, and it's not fair, and it's not going to happen here. Profiteers of pain. Let's talk about Marshal Willick and the years, not decades, he's been setting this up. And for whom? Because I know a guy out there, I haven't proved it yet. His name is Rod E. Mason. Get that. A former Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force. Willick got a hold of his case. Master Sergeant Mason died. And if I keep researching it, and if you research it, you may just find out that Master Sergeant Mason committed suicide. I can't prove it yet, and I haven't. I don't want anybody to say that I said that. But I said go look into it, because I'm going to look into it. And as I go across these other cases, I did a show on the radio about, this last week, about a family back east who the former spouse makes $60 an hour. And the warfighter, who's 100% disabled, has to give up half his disability benefit, give it to the former spouse, even though that warfighter has a family. Can't take care of his family. And every time he goes to court, the judge goes, 20 days, 20 days, 20 days. Because he can't pay his former spouse. The guy can't keep a job. His wife has to take care of him. He's got brain damage now more from suicide attempts than he does from the war. Because this won't stop. And these people are so ingrained in the system, if you want to complain about it, good luck complaining about it, because the people you're going to complain to are the same people profiteering. Let's go look and see who Marshal Willick is associated with. First off, I got to give credit where credit's due. See, I was in Sadr City, Iraq, and there was this dude there named Sayyid Karim Abu Qadi. Sayyid Karim Abu Qadi, honestly, was kind of a freak, but he was a genius too. The way he used to manipulate things in Sadr City with Muqtada al-Sadr and the whole thing. Sayyid Karim, he and I were like counterparts. It was like this cat and mouse all the time in that city. He'd show up places, shake my hand, want to hug me, then he'd turn around, try and kill me, and it was just a whole lot of fun. Well, the next guy that I found in America that I think is a freaking genius, because he got a jump on this stuff a long time ago, and he's so well ingrained. I mean, it's beautiful. If this was a military operation, I think Marshal Willick could be a great general, because for one, he knows how to plan. For two, he's extremely smart. For three, he knows how to engage people to get things to happen. Watch this. This is Marshal Willick from his website, okay? And if it changes, I got a screenshot, so I don't think it's going to change. But here's how it looks. Currently, Marshal Willick is the Certified Family Law Specialist for the State Bar of Nevada. I think a lot of people probably do that, right? Not really great. However, impressive, because watch more. He is the Nevada Bar Standing Committee on Ethics and Professional Responsibility Board of Directors. That means he sets himself up to be, I know ethics, because I'm on the Board of Directors. Right, let's keep watching. The American Military Pension and Benefits Committee, co-freaking chair. Watch again. American Bar Association, not just Nevada, American Bar Association, co-chair for military pension and benefits. Do you see a conflict of interest here? Just questioning. Prior to all this, he was a staff attorney on the Supreme Court for Nevada Central Legal Staff. That was a long time ago. This guy's smart, and he also knows how to network with people. Just a question, anything on that board look like a conflict of interest to you if he's actually trying to influence the law on veteran disability benefit? Because the next piece of the pie is, if the Supreme Court won't hear it, who will? 20 years of work, 30 years of work, making 50% off of every case he wins. It's a veteran disability benefit, as I understand it. That could be wrong. I haven't fact-checked that. But who's he associated with? And how's he going to get all this to play into profit for him and those that are rising the chain on the political ladder? Let's talk about Shelley Berkley. Oh, Miss Berkley. Oh, Miss Berkley. We got a problem. Because I think there's a good chance you're going to get a promotion, per se. Currently, you hold a seat in the Congress. Soon, I believe you'll hold a seat in the Senate. Mr. Willick, not only does he contribute to your campaign, but Miss Berkley, Mr. Willick, his business contributes to your campaign. I've seen information that says you and he are pretty close. Go to the same synagogue, hang out together. His brother dies, you buy a memorial brick at a Renaissance fair in Utah. That's pretty close. Also looked at your record. I looked at all the things you've sponsored or co-sponsored as a congressperson, congressional representative. Not like you're out there really pounding the hard bricks, are you? No. You've been making friends for quite a while. A lot of friends. Been making a lot of friends down in Las Vegas. Been making friends with Marshal Willick. And as a matter of public policy, I'm thinking you probably owe him a few favors. And he's been setting stuff up for 20 years. He's been giving to your campaign since before you won the congressional seat. The first time. You're friends with his family. You're friends with him. So am I to think, as a disabled veteran, that once you get into the Senate, you're not going to try and slide something in on behalf of your boy who knows that maybe upwards of 1 million disabled veterans will be discharged over the next few years. And he's making 50% off every former spouse, not to mention traveling the country and giving classes on how to rape us financially. It's true. Look it up. It's on the internet. And anybody who stands in the way of Mr. Willick gets sued. Sued. If you win your case, he'll haunt you. And by haunt, I mean send letters to the places you work and disparage you. Please tell me I'm a liar, and I will happily prove it. This is your friend, Miss Berkley. This is someone who contributes to you. And you know what? Should we hold you to account for that? Should we? I caution you, ma'am. Should you be elected, don't go that way. And when it comes to party involvement, I have a few more interesting tidbits that I think you guys are going to want to hear. Because on one side, people say, well, they're just contributing money. They're not really associated with each other. Well, is that the case on all issues? Is that the case on all issues? Because I got an Uncle Tom Warfighter in New Jersey that's saying, if you take money from somebody, you're in their pocket. That person's still in the same party as Miss Berkley. Let's go talk about the rabbi. Rabbi Schmuley. I like this guy. I like him a lot. Watch a few YouTube videos, get a kind of idea for his platform. I like his platform a lot. And I really like what else is happening. Check this out. Remember I was talking about guilty by association. Well, what's a big deal if you just contribute money? Does that really mean you guys are associated with each other? Does it really mean you're going to be owing some favors to people? Well, watch this. This guy right here, Rabbi Schmuley Boteach, pretty cool guy. I get his name wrong all the time, though, so I just say Schmuley. This is who he's running against, Bill Pascrell. Here's the sick part about it. Bill Pascrell, he's a veteran. He's a warfighter. He served in the Army, according to his website. But he's gone astray. He's lost his battle mind. I don't get it. He's lost his battle mind. He's forgotten where he came from. And that's sad. That hurts my feelings. Because I see as warfighters, we are one. And there's just a few things we won't do in this country. And one of the things we won't do, we won't help guys like Imam Mohammed Katanani, who has connections to Hamas. We're not going to help that guy stay in this country. We're not going to help a guy who actually tried to hurt Israel stay in this country, especially if you've served in the military. How can you do that and look yourself in the mirror? How can you do that? Well, guess what? Another warfighter stepped in. A guy who's doing some righteous things. I don't know him. He's not paying me to do this. I have never talked to him. I've never sent an email, nothing. Just my own research. This guy right here, Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon Adelson, also a veteran, served this country. He stepped in and said, hey, there's something funky here. This guy's helping guys that work for Hamas. I'm going to back another player. He gets Rabbi Schmuley to come in there. And what does Bill Pascrell have the audacity to say? Guy in the Democratic Party? Same party as Shelley Berkley? He says, you shouldn't be taking money. He's criticized Rabbi Schmuley for taking money from Sheldon Adelson. Then why shouldn't we criticize Shelley Berkley for taking money from Marshal Willick, who's hosing the American warfighter? Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't it be the same standard? I'm Boone CUTLER. This is the Tipping Point video segment. Every warfighter needs two things to survive in any operational environment. That's a battle buddy and a mission. All the way. Make it happen.